At this juncture, I wish to thank you all for your hard work, effort and commitment that you have rendered towards your schools and the Fijian communities at large. The leadership of schools following the aftermath of Cyclone Winston was exemplary. Ladies and gentlemen, last week we organized the 2017 Education Forum, where key stakeholders of education in Fiji collaborated and deliberated upon educational issues and strategies and planning, which will pave the way for greater benchmarks of achievement and academic excellence. Collaboration of people who have similar interest in education is perhaps one of the most essential tools of modern education systems across the world. Success or failure of education systems can on occasions be singled out to the level of healthy partnership that exists between all stakeholders of education. As school heads, you are the drivers of the 21st century education. You are in direct contact with the children, their parents, and the community, and through you, all the transformations and reforms flow through the system. Principals, you are the single most important agent of change who are leading and guiding and mentoring our teachers, who are setting the foundation for realization of our children's dreams. Therefore, when I get to meet you all together twice in a year, it is indeed a bonus, as this is the platform where so much important discussions can take place and which will directly assist us to raise the bar of excellence and service that we give to children, the parents, to our beloved nation. Hence, whatever I say here, it is to be taken in the spirit of helping our children realize their dreams. Principals and gentlemen, the international community, having realized the importance of education and transformation of households for a prosperous future, has outlined a number of goals to be realized by 2030. This is several development goals, with goal 4 of the 17 goals requiring countries to provide inclusive and equitable education for all. However, other goals such as SDG 1, the no poverty, SDG 2, zero hunger, SDG 3, good health and well-being, SDG 5, gender equality, SDG 6, clean water and sanitation, SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, SDG 10, reduce inequalities, and SDG 13, climate action are some goals that can be effectively achieved when education is fully accessible and children are able to participate in it. In this educational journey, we are not trying to address the current generation of children only, and nor are we addressing problems of contemporary Fiji only. We are in the process of setting a foundation for education delivery and ideological, philosophical, and mindset change for current and future generations of children for a secure and prosperous future Fiji. Ladies and gentlemen, we are preparing our students for the needs and demands of the 21st century careers, which will mandate them to know how to think critically, solve problems, to innovate, to collaborate, and thus meet the demands of the changing job markets and society. Time and again, we need to reflect on the rapid changes and increasing demands of our society due to globalization. We need to be aware of the fact that what was considered good education 3 years ago is no longer enough for our children to attain success in their careers and handle challenging societal demands. We cannot be rooted to the past practices and ideologies and use that to educate our children of the present era, because circumstances and expectations have changed dramatically. Change is vital for the progress of any individual, group, organization, and education is seen as the single most important ingredient of the change process. Status quo is not an option. Schools, therefore, have to offer situations and an environment which inculcates these attributes and thereby supporting students' holistic growth and development. Our aim is to deliver to our children the highest quality education contextualized to demands of this era. This is where we need leaders who are empowered with 21st century skills. A leader is a facilitator of change. He or she is a manager of change. More so, he or she is an ambassador of change. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to change ourselves to bring about change. We need to keep abreast with key developments, global developments, realize the needs of the child, and take action. All school heads must upskill and realign their educational priorities. You need to be inclusive leaders, as excellence can only be achieved through inclusive leadership. Thus, the theme of the conference is highly fitting, given the dynamic direction we have paved for education in Fiji. The Fijian education system is going through a major overhaul in terms of quality and excellence, and we need empowered and inclusive educational leaders who can bring about positive changes in the lives of our children. Ladies and gentlemen, inclusive leadership is about building networks and connections with people and organizations that play important roles in your school. Inclusive leadership requires school leaders to be collaborative, dynamic, passionate, committed, creative, courageous, culturally accommodative, and need to do multitasking and lead by setting examples. The expectation of the 21st century education rests on the ability of school heads to steer the schools towards excellence by partnering with teachers on effective practice, professional development, resource allocation, and student learning. Principals are the primary gatekeepers of both the process and the outcome. School heads in the current time needs to be empowered to explore various domains of inclusive leadership. All stakeholders of education need to be included in the schooling process. These include teachers, children, private and public sector organizations, universities, the school management, the parents, and community at large. One of the aspects of inclusive leadership that we have relentlessly channeled in education system is to fully involve parents in the education of the children. We are working with parents to be at the forefront of the child's education and take ownership of the child's achievements. The latest development is that we are embarking on motivating parents to create their own home curriculum to strengthen the child's learning and overall development. Ladies and gentlemen, our government has revolutionized the entire education system by first acknowledging that access to education is a right of every Fijian, and then progressively removing all obstacles to accessing education by all Fijians. We have eased their difficulties and stood tall to our promise of prioritizing education. All children deserve to be given access to quality education without any compromises. We have got children back in classrooms even during this country's most difficult, most challenging times. But we were depending on school heads to spearhead this movement in their schools. This is where inclusive leadership traits will support school heads' delivery of services to the children. No child seeking knowledge must be excluded from or given access to unequal educational opportunities. Again, I said, no child seeking knowledge should be excluded. School heads also have a crucial role to play in ensuring that the school's physical and cultural environment guarantees the health and well-being and safety of children, and should therefore continuously liaise with other stakeholders to upgrade, improve, and lift the environmental standards. Ladies and gentlemen, a great leader leaves a legacy behind. Be ready to take on the challenges and be passionate about it. If you're going to a school where the results have not been good last year, take the challenge and improve the results this year. If you're in a school where there are consistent indisciplined cases of students, ensure that this year you improve changes which eliminate the indiscipline issues. Passionately drive your teachers toward the short-term and long-term vision of the school. Make a mark in the school for all the good reasons. Often we see teachers seeking well-established brand name schools, but rarely we see teachers going there and giving a name to the school and making the school a branded one. Being a 21st century principal, you all need to be leading, learning, and building. As principals, the students should be your first, last, and foremost concern as we seek to address the needs of the whole child. It is the principal who brings it all together, providing the administration and instructional leadership needed to generate the improvements we all seek. It is the principal who empowers the teachers, encourages the students, and involves the community in ways that have lasting impact. It is the principal who leads the improvement efforts needed to deliver the results of policymakers, community leaders, and families now expect. Effective principals have the vision, courage, wisdom, and professional knowledge to lead learning communities that create opportunities for all children to achieve their highest potential. As conveyors of best practice, promoters of learning, and protectors of the whole child, our nation's principals drive schools to lead, learn, and build. Principals, by now you all should know where you and your school stand in terms of external examination results of 2015 and last year. Ladies and gentlemen, our main concern remains the low pass rate for mathematics and the science subjects. If you look at the table, it may not be legible from there, but you will get a copy of this and you will be given data. You will note that performance overall over the last 3 years, 2014, 15 and 16, generally have improved. But there are still areas of concern, particularly with respect to mathematics and the science subjects. If you compare the average marks in mathematics, 2014, the average mark in year 13 mathematics was 27, went up to 43 in 2015, came down to 37 in 2016. So this is year 13 mathematics mark. So the comparatively last year, we are making progress, but still way below even the mean mark. Mean mark of 50. Biology, 2014, the mean mark was 35, with increase to 46, and 48 last year. Chemistry, 2014 it was 27, 2015 44, 2016 51. Physics, 38, 54, 47, 46 in accounting, which is 58 and 52, economics 53, 55, 53. So our concern is mathematics and science subject. While we see a consistent improvement, even though there is a dip last year, but if you draw a line of best feet, you will see that we will have a positively sloped mean mark line. But a lot needs to be done. I think our curriculum service section will outline strategies that we have adopted for this year to see if we could improve the performance. But as principals, what you need to do is to look at these comparative results and ask yourself, how the subject performance, how teacher performance have been done, have performed, teachers have performed in various subjects in various years, and what are the benchmarks you are setting, and continuously, regularly monitor what has been achieved as you progress to the year end. If you examine district-wise performance, then we note there is a marked improvement in all districts as well. However, improvements are needed in the division of Eastern, Dakondrove and Suva. If you look at the performance comparatively between the 2 years, in year 12 exam, you will see that Suva 56% pass rate, 56% of the schools in Suva in 2015 in year 12 exam had a pass rate above 50, whereas 36% had a pass rate above 50% in 2016. Similarly, in the Eastern Division, for year 12, Nasori, 44% of the schools had a pass rate of 50% and above. In the year 2015, and 58% of the schools in the Nasori division in 2016. If you look at year 13 result, then Madhwata Bua, nearly massive improvement between 2015 and 2016. Overall, there's improvement from massive from 44 to 25, which is a very positive sign. But there's certain regions need to do major improvements. For example, Nasori, Suva, Eastern, and Dakondrove. These are some of the regions that we need to now target specifically. If you look at the performance of schools using more rigorous methodology, the simplest methodology is to examine based on the pass rate in year 13. We're just looking at year 13 result here. You'll note that if you look at the 2016 results, Nielsen High School, Wallimbasonga Secondary School, Nandroga Arya, and Thomas Baker were the four schools which had 100% pass rate. Then comes Yetsen Secondary, Lambasa College, Jayanarayan College, Rakiraki Public High School, Nishikawa Vision School, Balevu High School, Balata High School, the school Sanatan, South Tobini Secondary School, Ulivili Secondary School. I've given 2015 data for comparative purpose. But you'll note that this is not a very good methodology, because if you have one school where every student gets 51 out of 100, so you will have 100% pass rate. So it's certainly not a rigorous methodology to determine how the students have performed in the school. And obviously, if you look at the second methodology, you'll find, so this is the top 15 school. You will be given the entire list of all the schools in the ranking. If you look at the second methodology, you'll find the second methodology, what we have done is it's called subject ranking methodology, where each student in a school and the student's performance in a particular subject is ranked with all the students in Fiji. For example, let's say Jimmy in Jayanarayan College, Jimmy's performance in biology. So let's say Jimmy got 80 out of 100 in biology, and and there are two other students in Fiji, in Xavier College or Wallimbasonga, got 85 and 90. So Jimmy is ranked as third in Fiji in biology. So in that way, all the subjects that Jimmy has done, Jimmy's index is found, rank index. Then all the students' rank index in that school is found, and then school index is developed. The rank of the school relative to all the other schools in Fiji. So in that way, you will find the performance of all the students in that school ranked with all the other students in all the other schools. So that's how this particular ranking methodology is utilized, and we find that Nielsen doesn't appear in the top 15 at all. Okay. So Jayanarayan College, Rakiraki Public, number 2. I'm just looking at the 2016 result here, but I've also have 2015 there. So you'll see, based on that methodology, Jayanarayan College, the school which used to pick up the selected bright students in year 9. So you will see the performance there. Rakiraki Public High School, Yetsen Secondary School, Lambasa College, Resikul Sanatan College, Sangam SKM College, Nelly, Xavier College, Central College, Lutuko, Nandronga Arya College, Wallimbasonga Secondary School, Mahatma Gandhi High School, Longwai Secondary School, Penang Sangam High School, Nandongo Secondary School, Naikawake Secondary School. This is top 15, and the entire schools are ranked based on this methodology. So this is based on this, which I consider as one of the most rigorous formula methodology to determine the rank and the performance of students in school relative to the others in the entire country, and this is how the schools are ranked. And the third methodology, which is again better than the methodology 1, is you find out the number of students who are in the top 10% in the school in that particular subject. So again, in this methodology, we got kind of similar result to methodology 2, where Jayanarayan College comes number 1, Xavier number 2, Tilak High School number 3, Sangam SKM College, Nandi School, Sanatan, Tambua High School, Penang Sangam, SVC, MGM, Central College, Lambasa College, Lambasa Sangam, Bani Dayal Arya College, Kamil Muslim College, ACS. So ladies and gentlemen, these results, you should have it by February. And I don't know whether you have this data with you. As leaders, you should have every little data about your school performance and all the other variables which affect schools, and this is what you should be using to when you talk to your staff and start getting them one-to-one to set up their performance benchmarks. And I've listed down some of the questions that you should be answering when you look at where you want to move from this, using this data. Principals, ladies and gentlemen, the child spends the greater part of his or her day in teenage life in school. As such, we are duty bound to protect them, educate them, love them, value them, and prepare them for the future. Not by setting mere targets, but by aiming for perfection. The child is the most precious gift for their parents, and we must give them that same value. Every child is a genius in his or her own way, and our job is to recognize the talent, polish it, nurture it, and pave way for the child to succeed thereon. You must rise up to the occasion and not renege and destroy the trust and social capital built by the community at large. Principals, I want to talk about the other issue of shifting now from the preoccupation on infrastructure, resource, curriculum to teaching pedagogies, which I kind of spent a detailed presentation at the last education forum. Over the last 2.5 years, we have devoted a lot of time to upgrade our curriculum, get school resources and infrastructure in order, and motivate students to participate fully in the learning process. However, there is a missing link to this equation. I'm urging you all now to start searching for an effective and appropriate pedagogy to meet the expectations situation of contemporary students. While technology has changed, student environment has also changed along with changed expectations. The 21st century child is different with diverse needs, and thus we need to rise up and upskill ourselves to ensure students are able to absorb the new knowledge presented to them. This teaching methodology, termed as pedagogy, deals with having the required knowledge and practice to teach and enhance learning by students. It deals with specialist knowledge and skills on the subject matter delivery. Given the plethora of distractions that our students face, this is one of the most important challenges facing Fijian children today. The one-way teacher-centered input-based teaching methodology is no longer relevant. It may fulfill the job description of the teacher, but will fall far short of delivering the output, let alone the input. Principals, ladies and gentlemen, I now want to talk about diversion of our teachers from the core business of teaching, learning, and assessment. Some school heads are still loading teachers with administrative and unnecessary paperwork, thus diverting them away from the full core function, which is teaching, learning, and assessment. The school heads were required, based on circular earlier sent beginning of 2015, to embrace initiative that will lead to a reduction in paperwork. At the end of the day, what matters is the output. And if output is delivered, how it delivers may not matter to that extent. Many schools are becoming grossly exam-oriented as well. While activities need to be designed and practiced with students, too many exams may compressed in a short time frame defeats the purpose of the exams. The preparation time for exams, recovery period, and remedial exercise must be thorough and well planned. Instead, schools can focus on more activity-driven classes where children solve questions in class facilitated by the teachers. This again will allow us to move away from the input-based, teacher-centered approach to more student-centered approach of learning. Principals and teachers, this is now want to move on a very important subject area that I came out strongly in media recently, and that is student behavior and conduct, and what is our position in relation to this. While we can have a very high quality school infrastructure, good teachers and resources, if we don't have well behaved and captive students, the investment we are making will fall short of realizing our vision. Student misconduct and few cases of drug abuse are some issues which can destabilize the entire school environment. If you don't bring this under control, parents can lose faith in our school system. It is for this reason that we have now decided that we will immediately remove all students from our school who pose danger to fellow students or teachers. Our schools are a place where children come for learning. Parents send their child to get educated for a brighter future. We have our teachers to fulfill their dreams. As such, we will, under no circumstances, tolerate anyone disturbing the school's learning environment or distracting other children from fulfilling their dreams. Our school heads are addressing our children from day one that they must conduct themselves in an utmost professional manner at all times, and there is no alternative to this call. If, despite this repeated advice, we still find some students who are there not to study but to engage in mischief making, then we will have to immediately expel them from the school. If they want to behave like adults, then we will have to treat them like adults. We will not endanger the lives of other students as well as our teachers by having them there. They don't belong to our school system. In the same breath, I'm also calling the parents to talk to the children before it's too late. Once the child is expelled, we will not entertain any appeals. Our schools are not rehabilitation centers. They are places for teaching and learning. We don't have time and resources to separate out mischief makers and rehabilitate them. Therefore, we are making a plea to all parents to continuously remain engaged with the children, and I urge you also to raise this issue continuously in your CAPS meeting, the importance of parental engagement, importance of parents continuously engaging and talking to their children, mentoring them, motivating them, and reminding them continuously about the core business. Ladies and gentlemen, the quality of school leadership is very significant to determine the culture of the school and consequently has an impact on job satisfaction and delivery. The heads of school play a critical role in the overall performance of any school. We at the headquarters are makers, designers of policy, but we have you as the main person to execute. In Fiji, we have schools located far and beyond. There are many schools located in the rural interior and maritime zone which are doing extremely well. It is the leaders there who are making difference. We need school heads with their vision for the school they serve. They have the true heart to serve the children. Some children come through very troubled scenario, and when they come to the school, it is their place away from troubles and stress. School heads are tasked with the responsibility to ensure that children love to come to school and find safety, security, and are cared for in the schools. While these children come from varied household conditions, our government's vision for every child is to get educated and become equally successful. In this journey to the final outcome, we are equating our schools so that when these children come from different backgrounds, they are all equal in our schools. Via the education process in our school system, we will assure them of a uniform, successful future. So ultimately, while these children come from different and varied households, ultimately the final outcome is to equate them, all of them having equal opportunity to progress, all of them having equal opportunity to be successful. Principals and gentlemen, therefore I challenge all school heads to rise to the occasion to ensure that this educational journey that we have adopted, our Honourable Prime Minister has adopted, and our government has adopted, to equate everyone, to ensure that everyone have a successful future, we are able to deliver collectively through our education system. With these words, I now declare this conference open, and I wish all of you a thoroughly enriching deliberations and wish you all the very best in your work. Thank you.